This is Robert Kraft, and I'm your host on SNN.Network. And joining me right now is Jay Hutton. He is the co-founder and CEO of VSBLTY Groupe Technologies Corp. It's a publicly traded company. The symbols are VSBY on the CSE and VSBGF on the OTC. Jay, thank you for joining me today. How you doing?
Thank you, Robert. Doing well.
It's great to have you on, and thank you for dressing up. I'm assuming it's for me.
It is for you. It's all for you. Yes.
I appreciate that. So, this is your first time being on the program. So, as we usually do here, I'd love to start off with a quick overview and history of the company. So, take it from there.
Sure. VSBLTY is an artificial intelligence company. We've all heard that term 1,000 times, and it's a broad category for sure. But we're in this area of artificial intelligence known as computer vision. So we teach computers and cameras how to interpret what they see. We do this for retail impact, and we do it for security impact. In the retail side, a retailer may be interested in the movement of persons within their store, the demographic makeup of persons within their store, how many men, how many women, how many 25-year-olds, how many 45-year-olds, where do they go? Do they go to bakery, into the freezer aisle, and then to pick up a case of beer and leave in 14 minutes? Or do they follow some other journey? On the security side, we're looking for persons of interest, which is a core facial recognition problem. We're looking for license plate detection, fights, fires, public safety components. And all of that we drive with algorithms that interpret video feeds from cameras for meaning and output. So it's a 5-year-old company, 6-year-old company, public 2 years ago. And of course, the critical initiative of the company in the initial days was getting that initial reference configuration, the first customers, and then building on that. So I'm happy to say 5 years on, we're at a point where we're experiencing that inflection. Not only our industry is, but the company itself is.
Very good. So, this space is pretty interesting. I've done a couple of interviews with companies that are kind of dabbling in this marketing tech space, providing some sort of technology for big malls to get some more data and understand what's going on. So what would you say makes VSBLTY unique and different compared to some of your peers out there?
So our approach, we sort of sit with one leg in each of these marketplaces. When the core plumbing, if you will, is computer vision, artificial intelligence. So what's unique about us is we can build software that provides the camera the ability to do multiple things at the same time. So in a mall context, you may be counting people for capacity management. Has a brand new appeal in these COVID times where capacity is actually a meaningful metric outside of marketing metrics. It's now a public safety metric, and it just never was before, and now it is. We may be looking for weapons in a public space. We may be looking for the number of males, number of females, the traffic patterns, what you might call a heat map. Those are all marketing components. On the security side, we'd be looking for persons of interest, people that are serial shoplifters, etc. The point that makes us different is that we do all of that inside a single software context, a single stack, if you will. And you can enable, check off, or uncheck certain capabilities. And that's unique.
Got it. So where are we at currently in the company's life cycle? Do we have sales? Do we have high-end clients? Where are we currently at?
We're in our 4th year of revenue, going into our 4th year of revenue. But it would be reasonable to say for the first 3 years, we're incubating, evangelizing, securing the beachhead, right? And building our go-to-market, right? We go to market exclusively through an indirect model, a distribution network. We don't go directly to customers. So it takes a while to build that out, especially if you're pursuing, as we have done, S&P type companies to really roll that for us. But in terms of the maturation of the company, we're sort of beyond our reference customers. We're into our initial scale. We've been in revenue for 3 years. In fact, last year will be our first 7-figure revenue. And in this year, we'll go to 15 to 18 million in SaaS. And it's annual recurring. So we get that value out of that high multiple because of the fact that we're annual recurring. Software as a service.
Gotcha. And I have to ask also, COVID this last year, we're recording this on March 11th. This is like the year anniversary of announcing the pandemic.
Yeah, right.
What's it been like running a company that's doing marketing tech for retail? Like what's been going on?
On a personal level, it sucks because I like to be in front of my customer.
I appreciate the frankness too.
Yeah.
It sucks.
just being here since February is, it's a nice place. I enjoy it. It's my home, but I'd rather be out in the field. Although we're an adaptable species, aren't we, Robert? We figure it out. And
So we got
commerce,
these, right?
commerce, yeah, commerce has continued, right? And people will ask me frequently, you have a lot of exposure to retail. Tell me about how retail is adapting to this technology. What's really fascinating, and I can't quite crack the code on why yet. I have some ideas. Technology has accelerated post-COVID in retail. Not all of retail. I mean, you might reasonably say that, oh my gosh, if you're exposed to retail, it must be terrible. Well, yes, if you're Nordstrom's or Macy's or one of those large retail that's mass merchandise. But if you're Lowe's or Home Depot or ShopRite or Safeway, you're up year over year, not just a little bit, but meaningfully up. So what's interesting is that we're breaking down the barriers between the cyber fulfillment, which is Amazon and all those groups, and bricks and mortar. And bricks and mortar is far from dead, man. It's reinventing for sure. It's digitizing, which is awesome for us because that's part of our revolution. And it's evolving. It's becoming more experiential. So I would say my observation for the past year is COVID initially represented an enormous threat for us. The second quarter for us was terrible. We had a bunch of projects delayed. We had a bunch of customers going into the indecision mode, but it all came back and it continues to come back. So it's interesting.
Super interesting. I think to myself too, as you were saying all that stuff, I'm thinking to myself, even if the places have been seeing less foot traffic, it seems all the more important that you want to get as much information about whomever comes into your store as you can, because now that's an active potential customer, whether they bought something or not.
What do you do with that information is what's really interesting. And what retailers are beginning to get more sophisticated about is data is everything. If you understand your customer, demographically speaking, emotionally speaking, their movement within retail, what matters to them, what doesn't matter to them, when they come, what day of the week, what time of day, all of that is a data problem. And as retailers get more sophisticated about understanding that, they can optimize store knowing that information. And that's exactly what's underway right now.
I want to see my walking pattern through a store. You got to make that available for me. I want to see.
You will probably be surprised that you don't deviate very much. We are creatures of habit. And what's most interesting, and the reason why digitization in stores is exploding, 70% of us leave retail with something we had not intended to buy at retail. So we may not think we are, but dude, we are influenceable at the point of sale. We think we're above that. We think that we've evolved beyond that. We haven't. We are influenceable.
Listen, whenever there's a chocolate bar near the front at Trader Joe's and a Trader Joe's chocolate bar,
right.
Yeah, I'm a sucker every time.
Yeah.
So Jay, what's your background? I mean, how'd you come into all this?
I'm a software guy from the beginning to the end of my career. A narrow field of skills. I'm also an entrepreneur, and for me, I always say to my management team, let's play chess, not checkers. I love the strategy of the business. And the reason why I'm in it and still remain in it, because I've been through .com. I've been working for a company that built the internet, was employee number 60. And when I left in 3 years, Robert, 13,000 employees. So I've seen that ridiculous growth. And I get a charge out of kind of evangelizing new marketplaces, conquering the beach and putting a stakehold in that initial market. So for me, that's exciting. And this is artificial intelligence. Look out, next 20 years, it's going to change everything.
Yeah. Well, before I let you go, from what you can tell us, what would you say are some of the company's value catalysts now moving forward?
Yeah, I get asked this question from time to time, and I tend to zero in on my own experience. I've always been looking in my career for a company that's not too early, not too late. If you're too late, the party's over and the growth has happened. If you're too early, you tend to have to be so patient it kills you because it takes a while for the marketplace to get going. You're looking for companies that I think are at that inflection point. And every metric about visibility suggests we are at that inflection point. Not only what we're doing as a company, but the marketplaces that we're in are inflecting. Look at artificial intelligence and the embracing of AI in security. It's ridiculous. There'll be 400% growth in the next 4 years alone, just in AI. So we're at that point. You know, we're probably one of several companies that you could make that assessment on, but we're kind of unique in that regard, not only with respect to this participation in the marketplace, but the fact that we have 1 foot in retail and 1 foot in security, and we represent the nexus of the two.
Very cool. Well, Jay, with that, where can my audience go and find everything they need to know to follow along the visibility story?
Yeah, www.visibility, VSBLTY.net.
Like, oh wait, which?
I sometimes get the ticker confused with the name from time to time.
Good stuff. Well, Jay, thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you,
Stay
Robert.
safe. And I look forward to our next update.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.